There's no doubt about the fact that the Cubs are trying to upgrade. And then with last night's loss combined with a 10th straight win by the Brewers, as well as the Cubs have played, they're now in second place. Should we worry about that? And could the Cubs answer all their needs with a trade, maybe a blockbuster deal with the Arizona Diamondbacks? Jon Morosi saying that the Cubs are one of three teams that are in on Eugenio Suarez. We're going to talk about a deal that could change the entire National League race if it could be made. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thanks for being here. We're brought to you by D Community. That's our Web3 home. That's where we're going to be giving away Cubs playoff tickets and more. Let's get this show started. Great to see you guys today. And go Cubs. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball Channel, and it is great to see you guys today. Boom, there you go, at Broadcaster Mick. And it's good to see you guys, whether you're in the comment section, whether you're going to be at our home at D Community when we have it all set up, and maybe just in the comment section every day, or maybe you get me on Twitter or Facebook. I just appreciate you guys being here for the show. All right. First thing I want to say is right out of the chute, Jon Morosi has said that the Cubs are among three teams that are seriously looking to make a deal for Eugenio Suarez. Now, Suarez with the Diamondbacks in a contract year. You know him from when he was playing with the Reds. Apparently, it's the Yankees, the Mariners, and now the Cubs that are the three teams that are interested in a deal for Suarez. What would this deal look like? And what would it mean for Matt Shaw? And you heard Craig Counsell, what was it, yesterday, the day before, talking about Matt Shaw is going to play third base, basically just trying to take the pressure off of him. And Shaw's homered a couple times here lately. He struggled at the plate. You know that. He's been really good defensively. Kind of the same thing we saw with Pete Crow Armstrong, with Hollywood Pete, when he was breaking in. I don't know why there's such a steep cliff between the minor leagues and the major leagues now on these guys, but it's like they're not getting a lot out of the minor leagues, and then they're getting to the big leagues and they're just getting beat down, and they're going to take the beat down until they get it figured out, right? Especially these young players. And part of it is that they push the guys up so fast. And not everyone's like that. Though, look at what Cam Smith is doing in Houston right now. Like, he still hasn't found his power, but the guy's hitting. That's what the Cubs are hoping that eventually happens to Shaw. But they want to add to this lineup. And Suarez would certainly be a guy who, at 34 years old, would help them. Now, the Diamondbacks are still in the race, 50 and 51, but you get the feel that they know that they're not going to win it this year. I think they've been sitting around and waiting for that team to catch fire like they did in 23, and it just isn't happening. So, as the Cubs are looking right now for something to bolster their lineup, not to say that they need that, but look, I mean, the tougher the lineup, the more of a chance you're going to win in the postseason. I mean, think about 2016, how great the lineup was from top to bottom. That's what it takes. It takes a complete team to win the World Series. And look at how crazy baseball is. I think the Cubs are playing really, really good ball right now. And they're losing ground to the Milwaukee Brewers because they're winning every day. So the National League's very tough. And the Brewers are hot right now. My opinion on the Brewers is they're not going to be able to maintain this. Eventually, they'll come back down to earth. But right now, they're the best team in baseball. I mean, and nobody can beat them. And they're on the road just smoking teams like the Dodgers and now the Mariners. So we'll see what happens there. But they're not going to win the rest of the games this year. Eventually, I've seen this before. They'll do this, and then they'll do this. What the Cubs have to worry about is doing this. You want to be consistent. Baseball people have told me that. Russ Nixon, longtime baseball guy, said you want to stay here. Not too high, not too low. Be consistent. And I think they've done a good job of that. So why I'm talking about Suarez, who leads the league in home runs, playing like a guy with his hair on fire because he wants to get a contract in a contract year, right? Because the fact that he's kind of feeling like, hey, a lot of teams are looking for him. The guy's homered 5 times over the last, few games. And it's going to be a hard decision, according to Bob Nightingale, for the Diamondbacks. But if you're going to make this deal and you're the Diamondbacks, I know the conventional logic is, hey, let's just stay, wait to the end and see what kind of deal we get. The best deal they're going to get could be right now because of the fact that there's still teams that haven't bowed out yet, right? And I thought the Cubs should have done this in 23. They got hot, they decided not to make deals. They could have made some trades that would have helped them now. They didn't even make the playoffs, but they decided to go in instead of go out. And they missed a market that would have been very beneficial to them. Now the Diamondbacks are in that spot now. And what I'm thinking, if I'm the Cubs, and this is what the whole point of the show is, and I don't think this is that far-fetched. What if you made a deal and you know that you want to do these things right here? You want starting pitching, you want third base, and you want to help your bench. What if you made a deal and not only did you get Suarez to play third, Matt Shaw moves to the bench, right? And with that, he can run. He can play all the infield spots. I'm not sure what he does in the outfield. I'm sure he could probably play it if you needed him, but I don't know that I saw him doing it at spring training. I don't know if he's an outfielder, but the infield, he's got it covered, right? But then you go get Merrill Kelly in that same deal and Zach Gallen. If you're going all in, and it feels like you're going all in, you're going to give up some prized prospects and some guys that the Diamondbacks, if they get Owen Casey, he's going to be in their outfield for the next 10 years. I mean, that's what's going to happen. And he's going to tear it up. You're giving those guys away. Why not go in and get 2/3 or 2/5 of the Diamondbacks rotation and 2 of the guys that got him to the World Series? Then all of a sudden, and I know it's like, wait, that's a lot. Yeah, but I mean, if you're going all in, then think about it. Now you got Shota, Gallen, you got Kelly, Boyd, whenever Tyon comes back, but the rotation's deep. The thing I worry about with Boyd is that the guy hasn't pitched this much. He's been injury prone throughout his entire career. That would also give you the flexibility of maybe using a 6-man rotation, skipping guys, even Shota Imanaga. Hey, look, let's go ahead and slow it down so that everybody's fresh for the postseason. Am I worried about winning the division? Yes and no. We're finding out that the time off for division winners sometimes isn't very helpful. But there's also the part about the wild card. I mean, it's a short series, right? So I don't know. I think you want to win the division, but I think that the more important thing is having everybody healthy and lined up when you get to the postseason. So I'm not crazy saying this. I think that if you're the Cubs, you want a starter and you want the third baseman. The other thing is you keep those guys away from other teams. Or maybe you flip somebody else out of your rotation to make room for those 2 guys. But the World Series experience, something that Theo Epstein said about the Cubs going into the postseason in 2015. He talked about how you can't replace playoff and World Series experience. And maybe it's not with the Cubs, but those 3 guys have experience, especially the 2 starters, have that experience when it comes to pitching big games in the postseason. And I would rather have those 2 than, besides Boyd and Shota. Are you comfortable with Colin Ray? I mean, you could move him back to the bullpen. I mean, he's been good, but where are you going to put him in a short series, right? That could also solve your bullpen issue too. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, when I saw Jon Morosi talking about that today, just came out where he's like, hey, the Cubs are in this with the Mariners and the Yankees. I'm going, hey, the Cubs, if they're going all in, they have the prospects. I don't want them to give up Owen Casey. But if you're going to go all in, sometimes it's better to not only trade for what you need, but trade for what you might need. Give yourself some depth. And then you get those two starters and the third baseman. Lineup's a lot better. The rotation's amazing. You can move a couple of guys back to the bullpen. You know, we saw Ben Brown. It just isn't working. The Cubs' fifth spot is a dark chasm right now. And I felt bad for Brown because I thought he was a couple of pitches away from having a decent start. But it's still just, it just doesn't match up with that fifth spot has been a dark hole, no matter who they've put in there. Flexen, Wicks, Brown, you know, those guys aren't ready. And then you may trade some of those guys. Maybe Brown's part of the deal that you have to send to the Diamondbacks. Maybe Wicks is part of that deal. I think that Jackson Wiggins is a guy that they're probably going to have to trade in a blockbuster deal. Arizona is reportedly asking for pitching, back for pitching. I've told you guys that from the beginning. That's how all these deals work. But if you're the Cubs and this is your year and you're all in, that's a way to do it. Go ahead and take all three of the players that the Diamondbacks have, which I feel are the best players out on the market right now that could help you win a World Series. And that should be the goal, you know, winning the World Series. All right, guys, you tell me what you think in the comments section. Also, there's our QR code for our D Community site. Know that that's coming. We're going to have our Web3 home there. That's where we're going to give away playoff tickets. I'm not getting the cart before the horse, but I'm telling you, I mean, when you got like a 95% chance, you're going to make it. Now, it might be a wild card. Who knows? Anyway, hopefully, I think long-term, the Cubs are going to be fine in the division. I take my hat off to the Diamondbacks. It's like they're playing a video game right now, but that never lasts. Cubs just need to be consistent and keep focusing on the things that they have to do every day to be a good team. And you're not going to win with the fifth starter spot coming up right now. They have to solidify that ASAP. And, you know, so we'll see what happens. If when things break, we're going to jump on here. I will have a show tomorrow morning. I know some of you guys love watching at 5 a.m. We'll have it. They'll have it for you tomorrow. After the game last night, and I'm looking, I wanted to know if Ben Brown was going to get sent back. I wanted to see if there was any roster moves. I wanted to see what was going on with the trades. And that's why I waited a little bit more today to get a show out. But anyway, hey, yesterday did the long form podcast with Naren. Make sure you check that out too. And at least when you woke up this morning, there was that show out there a little longer, but I love when he comes on. It's a lot of fun. All right, like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thank you guys for being here. Haven't forgot about you Cardinal fans, but the problem is that you guys are so irrelevant right now. It's hard to even say anything bad about you. It's, you know, fourth place. It's a Cubs Brewers race right now. And this trade deadline's getting hot. And, you know, Cardinals are probably going to be a seller, like always.